Okay. Okay. So like, tell me guys in chat if you like see. Oh wait, nobody's fucking watching.
Tu nici nu cred că faci stream.
Ba da, numai că știi care
De ce ți se vede?
Yeah, why can I not fucking... Okay, hai să așteptăm pe unul să vină.
Please, Banana, come back. Please. If you come, I will kill myself. Okay, I don't kill. Maybe if you don't come, if you don't come down, I'm gonna shit your ass, motherfucker.
Yo, what the fuck are you saying?
This banana.
Hello, is anybody watching? Nobody. I'm coming.
Uite, aici. Da, du-te acolo, să... Urmare. Fă-le. Știu că mami...
Nu uita, asta nu-i stream-ul, ok, stai. Okay,
What is up guys, my name is Pete from the Gaming Careers YouTube channel, and today we're going to be looking at OBS Studio again, specifically how you add sources to OBS Studio. So things like your game, your webcam, your overlay, things that really make your stream stand out and look more appealing to viewers. Now I'm hoping a lot of you have already seen our OBS Studio tutorial where we looked in depth into the settings behind OBS Studio. Things like which Twitch server to stream to, what bitrate, what FPS, what resolution. We covered a video really in detail looking at the settings behind OBS Studio. So if you haven't already seen that and set up your OBS Studio, then you can click the annotation up here, which will link you to the mentioning what the difference between a source and a scene overlay. But I've just got an up here, which will link you to the really in-depth 20-minute tutorial, which is going to get your OBS set up in the perfect way. If you're confident that you're completely set up in terms of OBS settings, then let's jump into adding sources in OBS Studio. So as you can see, we're now in OBS Studio, and I've just got an example scene up with multiple different sources, the kind of thing that we're going to be creating today. So as you can see in this scene, we've got a webcam, we've got our game, we've got an overlay, and we've got some text, which are the 4 different sources that we're going to be covering in this video. So it's worth quickly mentioning what the difference between a source and a scene is, because if you're new to OBS, you might not quite understand the terminology. If you look down in the bottom left, you can see that we can have multiple different scenes in our OBS window. A scene is basically a collection of sources, so you could have different scenes for different games if you're a variety streamer, or you could have maybe one which just has your webcam and chat on for if you're in between queues in a competitive game. But effectively a scene is a collection of sources that appear on screen together. So a source is effectively something that appears on screen within one of your scenes. So something like your video game, that would be a source, your webcam would be a source, your overlay and some chat or text, that could also be a source. So a source is something that appears on screen, and a scene is a collection of sources. So the first thing we're going to be covering in this video is how you add your video game to OBS. The first thing that you need to make sure that you have is your video game running on your computer. When you're in your video game, it's worth just quickly looking at your game settings. So if you go into your video options from within the game and see what you have selected for display mode. Typically, if you have it set to full screen, that should give you the best frame rates in-game, but it can give you some heavy delays when alt-tabbing, which is probably something that you're going to have to do a fair amount, especially if you only have a single monitor and you're going to want to be reading Twitch chat. If you are going to be alt-tabbing a lot, you don't have a second monitor that you can quickly refer to, then you're probably going to want to set the game to run in a borderless window. This basically makes the game seem like it's running full screen, but it's actually running in a window, so you can alt-tab much quicker, but it will be at the expense of some FPS loss. So now you've got your game running and you have your display mode set how you want it. You want to go back to OBS, and there's a few different methods that you can use to capture your game. Some methods work better than others, and it completely depends on the game. Since every game is coded differently by different companies, they may require slightly different setups in OBS. There's absolutely loads of information on the OBS forums, which I've linked in the description below, so if you're having issues with a specific game, make sure you go to the OBS forums and see if anyone else has had a similar issue. Now, there are 3 different methods that I would recommend for capturing your game. I would start with game capture, and if that doesn't work, go to window capture, and if that doesn't work, finally go to display capture. I'm going to cover all 3 of them quickly now. So if we start with game capture, if you go down to the menu and click the plus icon, or you can right click and choose add, and we want to select game source. Here you can enter the name of the application if you want to. I would just recommend entering the name of the game that you're going to be capturing. Now, the default mode that should pop up should say capture any full screen application. I've had some trouble with this. It doesn't seem to always be able to find my game running, so sometimes you'll have to change this mode to capture a specific window and then select the window you've got down below. And you can leave the window match priority on acceptable name. Multi-adapter settings. This is an option if you're using multiple graphics cards, so something like Crossfire or SLI technology, then you want to be enabling this option just to get the full performance benefits of having multiple graphics cards. The force scaling option is useful for downscaling resolution, so if you need to do that, you can enter your custom resolution here. You can leave allow transparency unchecked because not many games need transparency, but if you do require this option, then this is where you enable it. Now, the limit capture frame rate option is if you are capturing a game at a very high frame rate. So let's say you're playing something like CSGO or Overwatch and you want to keep a high frame rate in game, something like 144 FPS, because you have a high monitor refresh rate. If you enable this option, it would let OBS capture at a lower frame rate, say 30 or 60 FPS, because that's what you're actually streaming at. So it can be useful to test this option if you're having some sort of FPS issues.
Match found. am the beginning. I am the end.
Chat, we are going to win.
Yeah, I don't think we are going to win this with play match. But yeah, doesn't matter.
Spike down A.
Decoy. I'll handle this.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Dying is for other people.
Last round before the switch.
Spend everything. We keep nothing.
I can buy for you. What do you want?